The encounter. On a bright and sunny day, Jake, a kind-hearted earthling, walked through the bustling streets of an alien marketplace. The air was filled with strange scents, colors, and sounds. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved around him, selling their goods and chatting with one another. Jake had always found this place fascinating. Today, he was looking for something special to bring back home. As he wandered past stalls displaying colorful fruits and odd-looking gadgets, something caught his eye. A small booth, set slightly apart from the rest, had a few handmade items laid out on a simple table. Behind the table stood an alien woman, Zila, with big, sad eyes and an expression of worry on her face. She was trying to sell her crafts, but it was clear that no one was paying much attention to her. Zila looked different from the other aliens. Her skin was a soft shade of blue, and she had delicate features that seemed to reflect a gentle spirit. Beside her was her young daughter, Luma, who played quietly with a small, worn-out toy. The little girl's laughter was a bright spot in the otherwise heavy atmosphere. Jake couldn't help but smile at the sound, but he also felt a pang of sadness when he saw how Zila was struggling. "Excuse me, miss," Jake said as he approached the booth. Zila looked up, her expression shifting from worry to surprise. "Hello," she replied softly, her voice tinged with a hint of hope. "Would you like to see my crafts? They are handmade with love." Jake stepped closer, examining the items on the table. There were beautiful woven baskets, delicate jewelry, and colorful fabric pieces. Each item seemed to tell a story. "These are amazing. How come no one is buying them?" he asked, genuinely curious. Zila sighed, her shoulders slumping. "Not many people are interested. Times are tough. I lost my husband in a recent conflict, and now I must take care of Luma by myself." Her eyes filled with tears, but she quickly blinked them away, trying to remain strong for her daughter. Jake's heart ached for her. "I'm so sorry to hear that. You're doing a great job raising Luma. She seems like a happy girl," he said, glancing at the little one, who was now drawing in the dirt with a stick. Luma looked up and smiled, her innocent joy shining through. "Thank you," Zila said, wiping her hands on her simple apron. "It is hard, but I try my best. Every sale helps me buy food for Luma. I just wish things were better." Jake thought for a moment. He knew he wanted to help, but he wasn't sure how. He looked around the busy market, seeing people chatting, laughing, and enjoying the day. Suddenly, an idea sparked in his mind. "Why don't I help you promote your crafts?" Jake suggested. "I can talk to some of the shop owners and see if they are interested in buying from you. Your work deserves more recognition." Zilla's eyes widened with surprise. "You would do that for me? But why? I am just a poor alien with nothing to offer." Jake smiled warmly. "Because everyone deserves a chance, and your crafts are too beautiful to go unnoticed. I believe in kindness and helping those in need. Let me do this for you." Zila studied Jake's face, searching for any hint of insincerity, but all she found was genuine kindness. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely above a whisper. "You have no idea how much this means to me." As they talked, Luma climbed off her little stool and ran over to Jake. "Are you going to help my mommy?" she asked, her big eyes shining with hope. "Yes, I am," Jake replied, kneeling down to Luma's level. "I'm going to help your mommy sell her amazing crafts." Luma beamed at Jake and clapped her tiny hands together. "Thank you. You are my hero," she exclaimed, and Jake felt his heart swell with happiness. Zila watched the interaction between Jake and her daughter, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. For the first time in a long while, she felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe things could get better. Jake stood up, feeling more determined than ever. "Let's start right now. I know some merchants who would appreciate your work. Just follow my lead, and I'll make sure they see how special your crafts are." Together, they walked through the market, Zila carrying a few of her items, and Luma skipping happily beside them. Jake introduced Zila to several merchants, explaining the beauty and craftsmanship of her work. Each time they stopped, Zilla felt her confidence grow a little more, encouraged by Jake's unwavering support. As they continued their journey, Zilla couldn't shake the feeling that this earthling was different. He saw her not just as a poor alien, but as a mother fighting for her child's future. His kindness inspired her to believe that she could build a better life for Luma. The day began with a sense of despair, but it was transforming into something hopeful. Together, they were embarking on a journey that would change their lives forever, starting with a single encounter that blossomed into a beautiful friendship. A new beginning. After their successful day at the market, Zilla felt a surge of hope she hadn't experienced in a long time. Jake had introduced her to several merchants, and some had shown genuine interest in her crafts. As they made their way back to her small home, Zilla couldn't stop talking about the possibilities. "I can't believe how nice they were," Zilla exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "I never thought anyone would want to buy my things." Jake smiled, his heart warming at her excitement. "Your crafts deserve to be seen. With a little more promotion, you'll be selling out in no time." Luma, who had been holding onto her mother's hand, chimed in. "And then we can buy lots of food. Right, Mommy?" "Yes, my little star," Zilla said, kneeling down to give Luma a hug. "If we sell enough, we can buy food and maybe even some new toys for you." Luma's eyes lit up at the thought. "Yay, I want a red ball," she squealed, bouncing with joy. The sight of her daughter's happiness made Zilla's heart swell. When they arrived at their home, a small dwelling made of clay and woven fibers, Zilla set the few remaining crafts on a table in their living room. The walls were adorned with drawings Luma had made, brightening up the otherwise simple space. Jake looked around, taking in the cozy atmosphere. "This place is lovely," he said. "It has a lot of character." "Thank you," Zilla replied, feeling a warmth in her chest. "It's not much, but it is home." As they settled down for dinner, Zilla prepared a simple meal of boiled vegetables and rice. While they ate, Jake shared stories about Earth, describing the incredible places he had visited and the interesting people he had met. Zilla listened intently, fascinated by his tales. "What is it like on Earth?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. Jake leaned back, contemplating. "It's different in many ways, but we also have our struggles. Just like you, I think everyone is trying to find their way and make a better life for themselves." Zilla nodded, understanding the depth of his words. They both had dreams, aspirations, and obstacles to overcome. "You've been so kind to us, Jake. I wish I could do something to repay you." "You don't have to repay me," Jake replied gently. "Seeing you and Luma happy is enough for me. I believe in helping others when I can." After dinner, they sat outside under the stars, the night sky filled with twinkling lights. Luma, feeling sleepy, rested her head on her mother's lap. Zilla stroked her hair, feeling a wave of contentment wash over her. "Jake," Zilla said softly, "do you think we will really be able to sell my crafts? What if no one wants them? I have faith that people will appreciate your work. Just remember, it takes time." "Don't lose hope," Jake encouraged, "and I'll be there every step of the way." Zilla smiled, feeling reassured. As she looked at the stars, she felt a sense of determination. With Jake's support, maybe she could create a better future for herself and Luma. The next day, they returned to the market with a selection of Zilla's crafts. This time, Jake had come up with a plan. He decided they would set up a small booth together, showcasing Zilla's creations prominently. With his charm and confidence, he hoped to attract more customers. As they set up the booth, Jake arranged the items in an appealing manner, ensuring everything was visible. Zilla watched in awe as he worked, feeling a sense of pride. "You have a knack for this," she said, impressed. "I've done a bit of marketing before. It's all about presentation," Jake replied with a wink. "Now let's make some sales." As the day began, people started to notice their booth. Jake greeted everyone with enthusiasm, explaining the stories behind each craft and highlighting Zilla's talent. Slowly, Curious shoppers approached, drawn in by the vibrant colors and Jake's friendly demeanor. "Wow, these are beautiful," one alien exclaimed, picking up a woven basket. "How much for this?" Zilla's heart raced as she heard the words. 10 credits, she replied, her voice trembling slightly. "Here you go," the alien said, handing over the credits. Zilla couldn't believe it. She had made her first sale. "Thank you," Zilla said, her voice filled with gratitude. The alien smiled and walked away, leaving Zilla stunned. Jake cheered, lifting her spirits even higher. "See, you did it." As the day continued, more people came by, and Zilla found herself selling more crafts than she ever imagined. With each sale, her confidence grew, and she began to enjoy the interaction with the customers. The little booth that had once felt like a desperate attempt to survive became a place of joy and connection. By the end of the day, Zilla had sold nearly half of her items. Exhausted but elated, she and Jake counted the credits, their eyes wide with disbelief. "We did it. We actually did it," Zilla exclaimed, a smile stretching across her face. Jake laughed, sharing in her excitement. "I knew you could do it. And tomorrow, we'll do even better." As they packed up the booth, Zilla felt a weight lift off her shoulders. This was just the beginning. With Jake by her side, she was ready to face the future. They walked home together, the stars shining brightly above them, marking the start of a new chapter filled with hope and possibility. Facing challenges. With the success of their first market day, Zilla was filled with hope and determination. She and Jake decided to return to the market the next day, eager to build on their newfound momentum. Zilla spent the night crafting new items, her hands working diligently as Luma played nearby. Each piece was infused with her heart and creativity, a testament to her resilience. The next morning, they set out early, excitement buzzing in the air. Zilla packed their things carefully, making sure everything was secure for the journey. Jake helped her set up the booth again, ensuring it looked just as inviting as the day before. "Let's make today even better," Jake said, grinning as he arranged the crafts. However, as the day progressed, they quickly realized that not everyone was as enthusiastic about Zilla's work as the previous customers had been. A group of rough-looking aliens approached their booth, eyeing Zilla's crafts with disdain. "What kind of junk is this?" one of them scoffed, shoving a basket aside. Zilla's heart sank. She had poured so much love and effort into her work, and now it felt as if it were being belittled. "These are handmade crafts," she replied softly, trying to keep her composure. "They're unique and tell a story." The group laughed mockingly, and Zilla felt her face flush with embarrassment. She glanced at Jake, who stepped in front of her protectively. "Hey, if you don't like it, that's fine. But there's no need to insult someone's hard work," Jake said firmly, his voice steady. The lead alien, taken aback by Jake's boldness, sneered, "What do you care? You're just a human. You don't belong here." Jake squared his shoulders, not backing down. "That's right. I'm a human, but I stand by my friends. Zilla has talent, and just because you don't see its value doesn't mean it's worthless." Zilla watched, heart pounding, as the confrontation unfolded. The other aliens seemed to hesitate, caught off guard by Jake's confidence. Finally, the leader scoffed and turned away, signaling his friends to follow him. "Let's get out of here," he muttered. As they walked away, Zilla felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you, Jake. I don't know what I would have done without you." Jake turned to her, his expression softening. "You don't have to thank me. You're talented, and I believe in you. Don't let them get to you." Zilla took a deep breath, appreciating his support, but doubt still lingered in her mind. What if they tell others not to buy from me? What if I don't sell anything today? "Just keep doing what you love," Jake encouraged. "If you keep making beautiful things, people will notice. Trust your talent." With renewed determination, Zilla focused on the customers who were interested in her work. She engaged with each person, sharing the stories behind her crafts and showing them the beauty in her creations. As the day continued, a few customers began to appreciate her talent, and slowly, sales began to pick up again. By midday, a young alien approached the booth, her eyes wide with wonder. "These are amazing. How do you make them?" she asked, her curiosity genuine. Zila felt a surge of hope. "I use traditional methods from my home planet," she explained, excited to share her passion. "Each piece is handmade with care." The young alien nodded, captivated. "Can I buy this one?" She pointed to a beautifully woven basket that Zila had crafted. "Yes. Thank you," Zila replied, her voice filled with joy. The sale felt like a victory, a sign that her work was appreciated despite the earlier negativity. As the day wore on, Zila found herself more engaged and confident, laughing and talking with customers. Jake continued to support her, helping to attract attention to their booth. They sold more items than she had anticipated, and Zila began to forget about the earlier confrontation. However, the challenges were not yet over. As they were packing up at the end of the day, Zila noticed the group of rough aliens lurking nearby, whispering among themselves. Her heart raced. She felt the tension in the air. "Jake, they're back," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. He turned to see them, his expression turning serious. "Just ignore them. Let's finish up and head home." But before they could finish packing, the leader of the group approached them again, this time with an even more hostile demeanor. "I told you to watch yourself, human. You think you can just waltz in here and take business from those who deserve it?" He sneered. Zila felt a knot form in her stomach. She wanted to stand up for herself, but was unsure how to respond. Just then, Jake stepped forward again, his face calm yet determined. "Zila deserves to be here just as much as anyone else. She's worked hard for this," Jake asserted. The alien leader smirked. "Hard work doesn't matter if you're not good enough. You're just a distraction. This isn't a place for weaklings." Zila's heart raced as she felt the weight of his words. She wanted to respond, but fear held her back. Just then, Luma, who had been watching from a distance, stepped forward, clutching her mother's hand tightly. "Mommy is strong. She makes the best crafts," Luma declared, her small voice ringing with confidence. The group of aliens looked taken aback. The leader scoffed, trying to regain control of the situation, but Zila felt a fire ignite inside her. Inspired by Luma's bravery, she finally found her voice. "My work is my passion, and it tells the story of my people. It's not weak to express yourself through art. If you can't see the value in that, that's your loss," she said firmly, surprising even herself with her conviction. The leader's expression faltered, and for a moment, the tension hung in the air. Then, with a huff, he turned on his heel and stormed off, his friends following behind him. Zila felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Did I really just say that?" she asked, incredulous. Jake smiled proudly. "You did. That was amazing, Zila." Luma beamed up at her mother, eyes shining with admiration. "You were so brave, Mommy." Feeling empowered by their support, Zila realized that she could face challenges head-on. As they finished packing up their booth, she couldn't help but feel hopeful. The world could be difficult, but with her talent, her determination, and the support of her friends and family, she could carve out a place for herself. As they walked home under the stars, Zila looked at Jake and Luma, feeling grateful for their presence in her life. Together, they were a team, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Building a future. The sun rose over the alien marketplace, casting a warm glow that filled Zila with optimism. After the previous day's challenges, she was determined to make today even better. She had learned that not everyone would support her, but with the help of Jake and Luma, she could overcome the negativity. "Are you ready for today?" Jake asked as they prepared for the day ahead. Zila smiled, her hands deftly arranging her crafts. "Absolutely. I have some new ideas I want to try out." As they set up the booth, Zila couldn't shake the feeling of excitement. She had been sketching new designs for her crafts late into the night, inspired by the unique alien flora and fauna around her. She hoped these new items would attract even more customers. When the market opened, a steady stream of visitors began to pass by. Zilla's heart raced with anticipation. Soon, a group of curious aliens approached their booth, intrigued by the vibrant colors and intricate designs of her crafts. "Wow! What are these?" one of them exclaimed, picking up a woven bag adorned with bright, shimmering beads. "They're handmade," Zilla explained, her voice filled with enthusiasm. "I incorporate elements from my home planet into each piece. This bag is designed to hold precious items safely." The aliens marveled at her work, and Zilla's heart swelled with pride as they engaged in conversation. It was rewarding to see people appreciate her talent. Jake stood beside her, encouraging customers to ask questions and interact with Zilla. As the day progressed, Zilla sold several items. She felt a growing sense of accomplishment, but she was also keenly aware of her earlier challenges. The encounter with the rough aliens had left her feeling vulnerable, and she hoped they wouldn't return. Just as she finished a sale, she spotted the same group of aliens lingering nearby, their expressions unreadable. Zilla's heart sank, but she took a deep breath, reminding herself of the support she had. "Stay calm," Jake said softly, noticing her unease. "We've come a long way, and we won't let them ruin this day." The leader of the group approached, a smirk plastered on his face. "Back again, are we? Thought you could impress everyone with your silly crafts." Zilla clenched her fists, fighting back her fear. She could feel Jake's presence beside her, solid and unwavering. "I'm proud of my work. It tells my story, and that's what matters," she replied, her voice steady. The leader scoffed, glancing at the customers around them. "You think you're special, just because you're making a few sales." Zilla took a breath, drawing strength from her experiences. It's not just about sales. It's about connection, creativity, and sharing something meaningful. The aliens in the crowd began to murmur among themselves, intrigued by Zilla's words. The leader's confidence seemed to waver slightly. "Whatever, you're just a human," he sneered, trying to regain control of the situation. But Zilla could see that the tide was shifting. "Being a human doesn't make me less. It makes me unique. And I believe everyone has something valuable to share, no matter where they come from." Jake nodded in agreement, adding, "It's about respect. Everyone deserves that." The onlookers began to side with Zilla and Jake, their expressions shifting from indifference to curiosity. The leader, sensing the change in atmosphere, scowled before backing away. "You'll regret this, human," he warned, but his voice lacked the conviction it had held before. As he retreated with his group, Zilla felt a wave of relief wash over her. She turned to Jake and Luma, who both wore proud smiles. "You did it, Monty." Luma cheered, clapping her small hands together. "Thank you, both of you. I couldn't have done it without your support," Zilla said, her heart swelling with gratitude. The rest of the day passed in a flurry of activity. Zilla continued to engage with customers, and each sale felt like a victory. She noticed that word was spreading about her crafts, and more aliens stopped by to take a look. At one point, a tall alien approached with bright purple skin and golden eyes. "I've heard a lot about your work," he said, his voice smooth and confident. "I'd like to buy some pieces for my gallery. They would fit perfectly with my collection." Zilla's eyes widened in surprise. "Really? That would be amazing. Thank you." She quickly showed him her best pieces, her excitement bubbling over as he selected several items. Jake beamed with pride as he watched Zilla's confidence grow. She was truly finding her place in this world, and it was beautiful to see. They finished the day with several large sales and a renewed sense of purpose. As the market closed, Zilla couldn't help but reflect on how far she had come. Just a few days ago, she had felt lost and afraid, uncertain of her abilities. Now, with Jake and Luma by her side, she felt strong and ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Let's celebrate, Jake suggested as they packed up. You've had an incredible day, Zila. Yes, we can have a picnic at the park, Luma added, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Zila laughed, her heart light. That sounds perfect. Thank you for believing in me. They headed to the park, where they spread out a blanket and enjoyed a simple meal together. The stars began to twinkle overhead, and Zila felt a sense of peace envelop her. She had faced her fears, discovered her strength, and most importantly, she had found a family who supported her. As they sat together, sharing stories and laughter, Zila realized that this was just the beginning. With her newfound confidence, she was ready to continue her journey, creating beautiful things and sharing her story with the universe. The future was bright, and she couldn't wait to see where it would take her next. A test of courage. The next day dawned bright and clear, but Zila felt a knot of anxiety in her stomach. Yesterday had been a triumphant success, but she knew that challenges were still lurking around every corner. As she prepared for another day at the market, she could feel a mix of excitement and dread bubbling within her. "Are you okay, Mommy?" Luma asked, noticing her mother's hesitation. The little girl's eyes were wide with concern. "I'm fine, sweetie," Zila replied, forcing a smile. "Just a little nervous about today, that's all." "Don't worry. You did great yesterday," Luma encouraged, bouncing on her toes. "I believe in you." Zila chuckled at her daughter's enthusiasm. "Thank you, Luma. Your support means the world to me." As they walked to the market, Zila thought about how much had changed in such a short time. She remembered her first days on this planet, how lost and alone she had felt. Now she had a community, a purpose, and a family. Upon arriving at the market, Zila felt her nerves start to settle. The vibrant atmosphere was buzzing with energy as merchants called out their wares and customers haggled for the best prices. Zila and Jake set up their booth, arranging the crafts they had worked so hard to create. Soon enough, curious customers began to gather around, drawn in by the unique designs and bright colors of Zila's work. Luma giggled as she played nearby, her laughter blending with the sounds of the market. Everything felt perfect. However, Zila couldn't shake the feeling that trouble was brewing. Her instincts were right. Just as the crowd began to swell around their booth, the same group of rough aliens from before made their reappearance, their faces twisted in scorn. "There's the human again," the leader sneered, striding forward with his entourage. "How pathetic that you think you can sell your junk here." Zila felt a chill run down her spine. She stood tall, reminding herself of the support she had. "I have every right to be here," she said firmly, though her voice trembled slightly. "My crafts are made with love and creativity." The leader laughed mockingly, and Zila could feel the crowd's mood shift. They watched, unsure of how to react. "Love and creativity. That's all you've got? You think that will make you respected?" Before Zila could respond, Jake stepped in. "Respect is earned through hard work and talent. Zila has worked incredibly hard, and her crafts reflect that. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not valuable." The leader glared at Jake, sizing him up. "You're just a human too. What do you know about respect?" Jake stood his ground, undeterred by the threat. "I know that everyone deserves respect, no matter their background. You may have your opinion, but that doesn't change the fact that Zila has a right to be here." Zila watched as the crowd began to murmur, the tension in the air thickening. She could feel their eyes on her, and in that moment, she realized this was her chance to stand up for herself and her work. "Listen," she said, her voice gaining strength. "I came here not just to sell crafts, but to share a piece of myself. Each of these items tells a story. They represent hope, connection, and creativity. I may be different, but that difference is what makes me unique." The crowd began to respond, a ripple of support spreading through them. They started to nod in agreement, some even stepping closer to her booth. The leader's confidence began to wane as he realized he was losing his audience. "You think that matters?" he spat, though his voice lacked the venom it had before. "You're still an outsider." "I'm proud to be an outsider," Zilla replied, her heart racing. "I've faced challenges, and I've learned to adapt and grow. If I can inspire just one person to embrace their creativity, then I've done my job." The onlookers clapped and cheered, their support for Zilla unwavering. Even Luma was clapping her small hands, her face beaming with pride for her mother. The leader looked furious, his face flushed with anger. "Let's go," he growled to his companions, who seemed reluctant to leave. They backed away slowly, realizing they were outnumbered, and that the crowd was no longer on their side. New beginning. The following days turned into weeks, and the small booth at the market became a staple for Zilla and Jake. Their crafts drew attention not only for their vibrant colors and intricate designs, but also for the stories behind each piece. Zilla felt a sense of pride every time she shared the tale of her home planet, the struggles she faced, and the creativity that had helped her rebuild her life. Luma thrived in this environment, her laughter ringing like music through the market. She often helped her mother, handing out items and sharing her own interpretations of the stories behind them. The two of them were a perfect team, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. One afternoon, as they set up their booth, Zilla noticed a familiar face in the crowd. It was the alien woman from a few weeks ago, the one Zilla had helped. Her name was Tia, and she had been struggling to feed her little daughter. Zilla's heart warmed at the sight of her, and she waved excitedly. "Tia, over here," Zilla called out, her voice bright with enthusiasm. Tia approached, her expression a mixture of nervousness and hope. "Hello, Zilla. I just wanted to thank you again. I've been selling my vegetables at the market, and things have been looking up." "That's wonderful," Zilla replied, genuinely happy for her. "I'm so glad to hear that." Luma, always eager to make new friends, chimed in. "You should join us. We have fun here." Tia smiled, her eyes lighting up. "I would love to. I've seen your crafts. They are beautiful." Zilla took a step closer, her voice lowering slightly. "You know, we're looking for more items to add to our booth. If you'd like, we can showcase your vegetables alongside our crafts. It could attract more customers for both of us." Tia's eyes widened in surprise. "Really? You would do that for me?" "Of course," Zilla replied, her smile radiant. "We're all in this together. Let's support each other." With Tia's agreement, they quickly arranged their booth to make room for her fresh vegetables. The next day, as they set up, Zilla could feel the excitement in the air. They were not just selling crafts. They were building a small community of mutual support and cooperation. As customers passed by, they were intrigued by the unique combination of crafts and fresh produce. Zilla felt a surge of pride as people began to appreciate the creativity that flowed from their collaboration. The booth thrived, with more customers stopping by than ever before. However, as their success grew, so did the attention of the same group of rough aliens who had confronted Zilla earlier. The leader, with his sneering smile, appeared once again, flanked by his companions. Zilla felt a knot tighten in her stomach as they approached. "What's this?" "A new recruit," he taunted, gesturing toward Tia. "Can't you find your own kind to team up with?" Zilla took a deep breath, reminding herself of the strength she had found in her community. "We're supporting each other," she replied calmly. "That's what friends do." The leader scoffed, his voice dripping with contempt. "Friends? You think that's what this is? You're nothing but a bunch of misfits." Just as Zilla felt her confidence wavering, Tia stepped forward, her expression fierce. "You're wrong. We are stronger together, and we have every right to be here just as much as you do." The crowd began to murmur, their attention shifting toward the confrontation. More people stepped forward, rallying behind Zilla and Tia, refusing to let the leader's words intimidate them. Jake, sensing the tension, moved closer to Zilla and Tia, his voice steady and strong. "You're outnumbered. This community supports one another, and we will not back down. The leader glared at them, his bravado faltering under the weight of their united front. He turned to his companions, who seemed less eager to back him up this time. "You're all fools," he spat, his bravado slipping away. "You'll regret this." With that, the leader retreated, his companions trailing behind him. The crowd erupted in applause, celebrating the courage that Zilla, Tia, and Jake had shown. Zilla felt her heart soar as cheers of support echoed around them. "Thank you, everyone," she shouted, her voice filled with emotion. "Together, we are strong." As the days turned into weeks, Zilla, Jake, and Tia continued to thrive in the market, drawing in customers who appreciated their unique collaboration. They shared laughter, stories, and support, creating bonds that would last a lifetime. The sense of community had grown beyond just selling crafts and vegetables. They were building friendships, understanding, and love across different backgrounds. Zilla felt a deep gratitude for the people around her, and each day became a celebration of their resilience. One evening, as they packed up after a successful day, Luma tugged at Zilla's sleeve. "Mommy, can we do something special for everyone? They've helped us so much." Zilla smiled down at her daughter, her heart swelling with pride. "That's a wonderful idea, Luma. Let's plan a celebration. We can invite everyone from the market." Jake grinned, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "We can prepare some food and crafts for everyone. It'll be a great way to show our appreciation." The idea sparked enthusiasm in Zilla's heart. This celebration would not only honor their journey but also strengthen the bonds they had formed. They began to brainstorm, filling the evening with ideas and laughter. Zilla couldn't help but reflect on how far she had come since her arrival. From feeling lost and alone to finding a community that embraced her, she had discovered the true meaning of belonging. She was no longer just an outsider. She was part of a vibrant tapestry of lives intertwined. As she looked around at her makeshift family, Jake, Luma, and Tia, she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Together, they would create a new beginning, a future filled with hope, creativity, and love. And with each day, they would continue to stand strong, side by side, ready to face whatever the celebration of unity. The day of the celebration arrived, bright and sunny, filled with an air of excitement and anticipation. Zilla, Jake, and Tia had worked hard to prepare for this moment, gathering food, crafts, and decorations to transform their market booth into a festive gathering space. Luma buzzed with energy, her laughter mingling with the vibrant sounds of the market. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Zilla hung colorful streamers and banners around their booth, each one crafted with care. The fruits of their labor sparkled in the sunlight, and the aroma of freshly cooked dishes wafted through the air, drawing in curious customers and friends. "Look, Mommy, it's beautiful," Luma exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder as she took in the decorations. "It really is," Zilla replied, her heart swelling with pride. "We've made something special together." Jake was busy setting up a table filled with colorful crafts, handmade jewelry, intricate carvings, and stunning paintings, all representing their cultures and stories. Tia arranged her fresh vegetables and homemade dishes, showcasing the bounty of her hard work. The booth felt alive, a kaleidoscope of color and creativity. As the first guests began to arrive, Zilla felt a flutter of nervousness in her stomach. Would they enjoy the celebration? Would everyone come together as she hoped? She took a deep breath, pushing aside her worries and focusing on the joy of the moment. The crowd gathered around, a mix of familiar faces and new ones. Zilla noticed the same people who had supported her from the start, smiling and chatting with each other. It was heartening to see the community she had become a part of, united by creativity and kindness. "Welcome, everyone," Zilla called out, her voice steady and filled with warmth. "Today, we celebrate not just our crafts and food, but the friendship and unity we've built together." Applause erupted from the crowd, and Zilla's heart soared. She exchanged excited glances with Jake and Tia, feeling the energy of the celebration lift her spirit. Let's enjoy the food first, Tia suggested, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. I've made some traditional dishes from my home planet. I hope you all like them. As people lined up to taste Tia's delicious offerings, Zilla felt a wave of happiness wash over her. Conversations flowed, laughter filled the air, and everyone seemed to be having a great time. The delicious food brought people together, breaking down barriers and sparking new friendships. Luma darted around, sharing stories about her mother's crafts and introducing her new friends to the alien vegetables. These are from Tia's garden. They taste amazing, she exclaimed, her excitement infectious. The laughter and chatter of the crowd were music to Zilla's ears. She watched as Jake led a group in games, their playful shouts echoing through the market. It was a beautiful sight, a tapestry of cultures woven together in celebration. After everyone had enjoyed the feast, Zilla gathered everyone's attention once again. Now let's share our crafts. Each piece has a story, and we would love to tell you about them. With each item they showcased, Zilla, Tia, and Jake took turns explaining the inspiration behind their crafts, sharing anecdotes that made each creation unique. The crowd listened intently, captivated by the tales of resilience, hope, and creativity. The crowd listened intently, captivated by the tales of resilience, hope, and creativity. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the market, Zilla felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. This celebration had not only brought joy to her life, but had also strengthened the community she cherished. Just then, a commotion caught her attention. Zilla turned to see the rough aliens from before lurking at the edge of the crowd, their expressions dark and hostile. The moment sent a chill through her, but this time, she felt different. She was no longer alone. She had friends who stood with her. The leader approached, sneering at the festivities. "What's this? A bunch of misfits throwing a pity party." Zilla took a step forward, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "This is a celebration of friendship and unity. We're stronger together, and we won't let you ruin this." Tia stood beside her, her eyes fierce. "You don't belong here. We've built something beautiful, and we're proud of it." The crowd began to murmur, rallying around Zilla and Tia. The earlier tension hung in the air, but this time, there was strength in numbers. The community had come together, ready to defend their newfound harmony. "Leave us alone," Jake added, stepping protectively in front of Zilla and Tia. "You're outnumbered. We stand together, and you won't intimidate us." The leader's bravado faltered as he scanned the faces in the crowd, realizing he was not alone in his disdain. He hesitated, his friends looking uneasy. The power dynamics had shifted, and for the first time, he felt the weight of the community's unity against him. "You'll regret this," he spat, backing away slowly, the fire in his eyes dimming as he retreated into the shadows. As the tension dissolved, the crowd erupted in cheers and applause, celebrating their victory over adversity. Zilla felt a wave of relief wash over her, her heart swelling with pride for her friends and the community they had built together. "That was amazing," Luma shouted, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "We did it, Mommy." "Yes, we did," Zilla replied, pulling her daughter into a warm embrace. "Together, we can face anything." As the night progressed, laughter and music filled the air. They danced under the stars, united in joy and solidarity, celebrating not only their individual stories, but the collective journey that had brought them all together. Zilla looked around at the faces of her friends, Jake, Tia, and Luma. In that moment, she knew they had created something beautiful, a community built on support, creativity, and love. This was not just a celebration, it was the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. As the last stars twinkled overhead, Zilla felt a profound sense of gratitude for the journey that had led her here. They were no longer just survivors in a foreign land. They were a family, a community bound by the spirit of togetherness. And together, they would continue to face whatever challenges lay ahead, ready to embrace the future with open hearts and unyielding strength.